my name is Alan Liu. I work for GoHealth Insurance in our Chicago office. I do a lot of work behind the sales enablement side and do a little bit of work around recruiting as well. So part of our initiative this year is to start to recruit on campus, looking for college seniors for full-time positions working in our sales center. So with that being said, I'd like to hand off to our Director of Sales in Charlotte, Rami Sway, to give you a little intro into what GoHealth does and who we are.
Thank you, Alan. Thanks everybody for taking some time out of your day today and joining us. Again, the purpose of us today is really just reaching out to students at the university and wanted to be able to extend what we do and how we impact our community, and let you guys know that if you are interested in looking for growth in a sales position in the future and as you graduate, that we're here and looking forward for you guys reaching out to us. So hopefully we're able to shed some light on who GoHealth is and how we impact the community. 1 second, please. This is like with the UNCC college, like 10 people on here. Go, I just turned the camera. All right, sorry about that. All right, so just some things that we're going to go over today. Myself and Christopher will be going with you guys. We're going to do a brief introduction. We're going to talk a little bit about talent versus skill, some mastery sales skills, how master sales skills can influence some different levels of leadership. And Chris is also going to be talking a little bit about the importance of relationships. And then we'll finish it up with a little bit of QA. So Chris, if you want to go ahead and flip to the next slide, we'll go over a little bit about the GoHealth use. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard of us, but GoHealth has been a leading provider with technology and service for the healthcare industry since 2001. We were founded in Chicago as Norvax. We are privately owned. We have had a few different investments throughout the years, and recently this past year we had one as well. Like I said, the headquarters is in Chicago, and we have sales center currently in Chicago, Charlotte, and Salt Lake City, Utah. And one thing I would notate while we're here is during these unfortunate times, and I hope all of you are staying safe and healthy, we are actually growing as an organization. And one of the things that we were able to do very successfully is take approximately 1,000 employees and get us all working from home successfully. So we currently have right around 500 sales agents working from home and able to help our consumers right out of the comfort of our homes. So it's gone really well. We partner with 135 different insurance carriers. There is also combined with in the office and outside the office, we also have field agents as well. And we partner with a lot of different strategic other organizations along the way. Go ahead, Chris. So I'm not sure how many of you have family or friends or family friends, parents and whatnot that may take advantage of Medicare or know what Medicare is, but original Medicare is something that folks are able to take advantage of at the age of 65, and or if folks have been disabled for a certain length of time, they can take advantage of original Medicare. Original Medicare does offer a great amount of coverage. However, Medicare Advantage plans replace and pick up what original Medicare doesn't have. And Medicare Advantage plan has 4 different parts, which are Part A is hospital insurance. So folks get admitted to the hospital, they'll have coverage in the hospital. It also provides their medical insurance, which includes physicians, doctors, and their drug plans, which are Part D, which covers any prescription drugs that somebody would need to take. We look at Medicare as a Part C. That's why you see it here as one of the original 4 parts. So a lot of folks will have original Medicare and they'll have just parts A and B, but the Medicare Advantage plan will offer the Part D, and it'll be a all-encompassing plan to make sure that it covers everything that original Medicare doesn't take advantage of. Go ahead, Chris. So just to give you guys a little bit more background and a little bit more knowledge about GoHealth. So over the last 15 years, we've grown tremendously, and we've been anticipating with our market opportunities and taking advantage of the ever-changing market. So give you a little bit of a track record to what some of our new business technologies has had to offer. So in 2010, there was Obamacare. I'm not sure if anybody on this call is aware of what that is, but there was an insurance act that was signed into law by our President Barack Obama, and that offered us an opportunity to offer extended insurance to folks that may have not been able to get insurance prior to that. And, you know, to this day right now, and since 2011, there's approximately 10,000 folks turning 65 every day in the United States. And that's a big part of our market that we speak to clients on that are over the age of 65. So you can imagine over 10,000 people turning 65 every day. Those folks keep us very, very busy. Some of the carriers that we partner with currently are United Healthcare, Humana, Anthem, Aetna, Cigna, WellCare. The list goes on and on and on. And our great founders, Clint Jones and Brandon Cruz, have been able to have GoHealth be established as a brand name in households and with carriers. So we are continuously looking to ensure that we are partnered with the top carriers in the United States to make sure that we are able to offer our consumers the best and most suitable plan possible to them to make sure they take advantage of their insurance needs. All right, Chris. All right, so I'm going to introduce to you guys Christopher Solomon. He is a program manager that works with me here in the Charlotte office. Chris works directly with our team managers as well as our agents. Chris does everything from operations to coaching, development, leadership, sales, unit. Chris, it's all yours.
All right. So,
Thank you guys for your time.
How are you? Thank you, Rami. I appreciate it. Jay, appreciate the opportunity. Alan, it looks like Jatarius, Jacob, and Todd. Can I hear you guys? Is Jatarius, is that how you pronounce your name, man?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Jatarius, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
So far, so good, my friend. Big Todd, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Another day in paradise?
You could say that.
If paradise was quarantined and you were scared to shake people's hand, right?
Yeah.
Right. Jacob, how about you, man? You good? Jacob, you mic shy, my friend? He's good. Microphone doesn't work. All right. He just sent me a message. Mercedes, how are you today, my dear?
I am doing well, Christopher. Thank you for asking.
Just so you all know, sir, Mercedes is actually one of our support specialists. Essentially, I like to call her the glue that keeps everything stuck together. So if it wasn't for her, we couldn't do any of the things that we do. So if I don't know something, I'm going to ask Mercedes. Now, the big thing, Jacob, Todd, Jatarius, is I'm more of an interactive guy. So if you guys have questions, if you guys have comments, I'm going to call on you and ask you stuff. Jacob, I'll let you have a reprieve since you don't have a mic. But Todd, you and Jatarius, you guys are fair game, and I'm going to be asking you guys some questions. Is that cool with you?
It sounds good.
All right. So first and foremost, we're talking about GoHealth here, right? You guys are in school, and I would assume after you get out of school, you want to get into a good job where you feel like you're making a difference and making good money. Is that right?
That's correct.
So the question is, where do I go? What do I do? And I'm assuming that you all are going to graduate. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So I would assume you're talented. Jatarius, is it fair to say that you're a talented cat?
That's correct.
Jacob, would you say you're talented? Says hopefully. Todd, what about you? Would you say you're talented? Hey, Todd, you still there, buddy?
Not at all.
You wouldn't say you're talented?
No.
Well, that's good. Humility is a beautiful thing as well. But typically, the folks who are able to go to college, like you all, study hard, like you all, avoid the pitfalls of the parties and the getting too crazy and not focusing on studies, and graduate are talented. It takes a certain amount of talent to go to college and graduate and get your degree. So I'm assuming that you all are talented. Now, the big key here is there's a big misconception in the world when it comes to the differentiation between talent and skill. Talent you have naturally. Talent is something that you were born with because God blessed you. Talent is something that you were given because your parents were on point, or you had an environment that just made you sharper, faster, smarter than the average bear. Talent is given innately. Skill, on the other hand, is only developed after hours and days and weeks and months and years of pounding on your craft, of getting in the weeds and getting kicked in the teeth and figuring it out. Skill is a very beautiful thing because, as opposed to talent, everyone can learn it. Everyone can get it. If you want to be skilled in investing and make $1 million, we could teach you how to do that if you're an investment coach, right? If you want to learn how to increase your influence, if you want to learn how to increase your anything that you want to do, you can learn the skills to do that. So when it comes to learning a skill, we have to talk about mastery. Right now, you three are in a mode where you're going to have to figure out what you're going to want to do for the rest of your life. Whether that be an entrepreneur, whether that be join a corporation, whether that be investing, whether that be any number of things, nonprofits, charity, churches, you name it. You're going to have to come up with what you want to do for the rest of your life. And that's a scary thing because at the end of the day, you only get a few chances to do it, right? You can't invest in music and do music your whole life and then decide, I'm going to jump into investing. You really have to pick something and stick with it. And the reason is because it takes a long time to master a skill. They say that it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. Todd, Jacob, Jatarius, you guys basketball fans by chance?
Yes, I am.
They say Jordan took 10,000 free throws to get good at free throws. You believe it?
Yeah, I believe it.
I believe it too. Guy could hit it, he could drain a three, he could hit a free throw, right? He took 10,000 free throws. They say for folks like us, it takes about 10,000 hours to become a master at something. If you want to be a master salesperson, 10,000 hours. If you want to be a master basketball player, 10,000 hours. You want to be a master music composer, producer, 10,000 hours. So let's break down that math. If it takes 10,000 hours to get a mastered skill, let's just say you're putting in a full day. Out of 10,000 hours, you put in a full 8-hour workday. That means that it's going to take you 1,250 hours days if you started today to master that skill. If you break that down by 5 days a week, and I'm going to give you guys some advice, find a job that lets you have off the weekends. Working the weekends suck, Jatarius. Working the weekends suck, Todd. You want to have those days to recover. So let's assume you land the dream job. Let's assume you land a job here with GoHealth and we don't make you work on the weekends. You have 5 days out of a week to get to your 1,250 days. That's 250 weeks. If you divide 250 weeks by the 52 weeks a year, you're looking at 4.8 to 5 years to master a skill. Jatarius, you're 5 years away from mastering your passion, my friend. Todd, you're 5 years away from mastering whatever job or occupation. And you can do it, but it's going to take a lot of hard work. So the question is, if it's going to take 5 years, what skill am I going to learn? Because I don't want to be a basket weaver and broke, right? I want to do something that's going to make a difference. I want to do something that's going to put me in a mansion, not a poorhouse. I want to do something that has a lasting impact, and I don't want to waste 5 years. I'm sure a lot of us can raise our hand and say, yeah, I've wasted some years in relationships before. I've wasted some years in bad habits before, and I don't want to go back there. So if it takes 5 years, what skill would be the best skill that you could start learning today? So 5 years from now, you're better, faster, smarter, sharper, and better able to take care of yourself and your family. And that, in my opinion, is communication. There's very few things, gents, that you can master that will cross-pollinate into every area of your life. When you go to the grocery store and you talk the cashier into letting you get that coupon that expired a week ago, it takes communication skills. When you get pulled over by the officer and you were going 10 over and you talk your way out of that ticket, that's communication skills. When you have kids and wives one day or whatever you are going to have with your family set up, and you have an argument or you need to convince your kids to do this, that, or the third, that's going to take communication skills. Every single thing in your entire life will be better if you increase and become a master of communication. Now, once you start on this journey of communication, increasing your ability to influence people and talk people into stuff and get people on your side and articulate your thoughts, you move into this weird place where you start making money from it. You can get into sales and you could sell anything, whether it be Medicare, whether it be insurance, whether it be financial products, whether it be houses, whether it be, jets to Lockheed Martin. You'll start making money because you've become a great communicator and you've been able to use those skills now to make your money. Is it fair to say that you all on the phone have probably had to use your communication skills to either get yourself, that coupon, get out of a ticket, or make yourself some money once or twice in your past? Can I get an amen from somebody?
Amen.
Darius, I like you, man. I want you to apply. So with that being said, it takes a lot to get good at this. And when you start on this road to communication and you get good at it, and then you start making money off it, you get good at it, you'll move into this crazy place called influence, which leads into leadership. Now, no one has ever done anything big without the willing participation of people. If you want to run for government, you need votes. If you want to start a business, you need employees and customers. If you want to start a charity, you need donations. You need other people. So when you get good at communication and you learn how to make money off it and you move into this weird place called influence where the things that you say impact the people that are around you, you become a leader. And when you're a leader, the beautiful thing is now you have the influence over the folks and you could get people headed in the right or in the same boat, rowing in the same direction. Because leadership, you don't need a title. Leadership is influence. So leadership being influence, sales being influence. When you sell somebody or you convince somebody, you influence them. When you're influencing them, you're leading them. And so the question is, how do you increase that influence? How can I go from talking somebody out of a ticket to making $1 million on a business idea and getting a bunch of people to buy in to get, work on it? And there's 5 levels of leadership or influence that I want to talk to you guys about today. The first level is title. Todd, you ever been pulled over?
Nope.
You ain't never been pulled over, Todd?
No.
All right. Hey, Terry, you ever been pulled over?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Let me ask you a question. When that police officer walked up to your window and said license and registration, what did you do?
I reached for it.
You gave him your license and registration, right? That person told you or influenced you to grab your license and registration because they were on the first level of influence or leadership with you, which is called title. They have a title. You're a police officer. You ask me for something, I got to give it to you. You influence me because I have to do it. You'll get very little from people from just a title. You've probably had managers and bosses or people that said that they were coaches or teachers or whomever, that they couldn't get you to do anything that you didn't have to do because the only influence they had over you was the title that they carried, and that does not carry very much weight. Now, the second level of influence, how to increase that level of talking folks into things, convincing folks to go your way, is called relationship. If you build a relationship with somebody, people will follow you because they want to. They like you. Like Jatarius, for example. If we, right now I'm just some program manager. I'm just some dude. If we start, we connect and I start, pouring into you and you start pouring back into me and we, create a relationship and we're cool. You're into the same stuff I'm into the same stuff you're into. When I ask you to do something like, hey man, can you join this webinar or can you do this, that, or the third? You're much more likely to do it than if I'm just some random guy, right?
Right.
So you increase your influence. The next level is called results. Todd, you said that, did you say you're a basketball fan?
I'm not.
You're not. What sports or what are you into?
I like games.
You're a gamer?
Yeah.
What are you, a first person shooter? You're an MMO guy? What are you?
RPG.
You're an RPG man. So you bought that Final Fantasy VII, I would assume?
Yeah.
So let's just say that, who was the director of Final Fantasy VII? Who is he? He's awesome.
I don't remember.
I'm talking about, we'll say Jake. We'll say his name's Jake. It's not. It's like a Chinese or Japanese name, I'm pretty sure. But we'll say Jake came up to you. He made Final Fantasy VII, and he said, hey, man, I need you to come with me because I'm working on something, and I think that you could help. Would you go with them?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's like, hey, when someone amazing that you know's done something amazing and something you're interested in, of course you're going to go with them.
Exactly. When you see somebody doing something great, it's like, man, you're making games. I would love to do this. This would be something that would be a dream come true. They have a serious amount of influence because the third level is results. When you see somebody getting the results that you want, you have somebody that drives by in a Tesla or a Beamer or a Benz or whatever the car that is your dream, and they have influence over you. When you see Michael Jordan, draining free throws, they have influence over you. You don't know Jordan. You don't know the director of Final Fantasy VII. You don't know the person that's in the Tesla. But because of the results that they get, if they tell you to do something, you would be very influenced by what they say. So that's the third level. The fourth level of influence or leadership is called people development. People will follow you because of what you've done for them. Let's hypothetically say, Todd, in that last analogy, that the game director, brought you in. Obviously, he's the game director, so they have the level 1 title. They build a relationship with you because they care about you and they want you to be on the team. You see the results that they're doing. They're pumping out RPGs like it's going out of style, and they're incredible. But now on the fourth level, let's just say that person starts pouring into you, teaching you graphic design, teaching you CAD, teaching you how the game works and the code's written. And then you create Final Fantasy 25, the best Final Fantasy since 7, and you get the same results they did. That person who taught you, that poured into you, would instantly move up a level of influence, and now you would run through walls for that person. Why? Because, man, the reason why I have this house, the reason why I have these things, the reason why I'm able to touch the world is because of you. And that's the fourth level. In the fifth level is called the pinnacle. People follow you because who you are and what you're about. Level 5 leaders create level 4 leaders. Level 5 leaders essentially say, hey, I taught you how to get these results. I poured into you so you could get to your level. Now, I want to teach you, push you, and encourage you to do the same for another. To pick someone else up, bring them under your wing, pour into them, make Final Fantasy 30 so now they're a level 4 leader as well. And you just moved up to the pinnacle with that person. Because each one teach one. When you get the communication skills to influence people, and you start using these communication skills to build relationships, to get better results in your own life, to teach others how to get better results in their life, and ultimately to teach people to get results, you become a level 5 influencer, and people would run through walls for you. They'll do anything for you. And at that point, if you want to, Todd, start your own, developer, you could do it. Jacob, if you want to go ahead and start your own, anything, business, you could do it. Jatarius, if you want to start your own, say basketball, league, you could do it because people will run through walls to create your vision. So I have 2 things that we could talk about today. The one thing is getting into this second level of leadership, because I can't give you a title. You guys apply, you crush the interview, you come on, I'm going to give you all kinds of stuff, including money that you didn't even think was possible, a sense of fulfillment that you didn't even know was possible, but I can't give you anything when it comes to title right now. What I can do is pour into you a little bit and teach you how to move up to the second level of leadership, which is relationship, by building rapport with strangers, the people around you, so on and so forth. So we could do that if you'd like. Or we could jump to how much money you could potentially make in this opportunity, and then I could do more of a question and answer back and forth. So what do you guys want? You guys want to learn, leave faster, sharper, smarter, maybe with a little bit more in your tool belt? Or do you want to look at the potential and then we talk about, some of the questions that you all have? What do you want to do? Jatarius, what's your vote?
I'm down for learning.
All right.
Just learning more about GoHealth.
Jay wants to learn. Todd, what do you think?
I think learning is a good idea too.
All right, pouring into Todd. Jacob, what do you say? We're waiting for his chat. Jacob's down. All right, so you guys want to learn. So when it comes to GoHealth, I'm going to have some question and answer at the very end. We're an organization because we're the best, because we're the number one, because we've been doing it for so long. We are able to really help you move up in this level of leadership, this level of influence, this ability to become a master salesperson, a master influencer, a master leader. What we're going to do now is talk more about what that means, what the second level of leadership is. And I like to do my coachings and teachings in a Miyagi style. You guys ever seen Karate Kid?
Yes.
I've seen it. Darius, you seen it? Did you guys see
Yes.
the one with Mr. Miyagi right here? Did you see the new one with Jaden?
I seen them all.
Seen one of them? Is it the one where he's?
I think all of them.
Oh, you seen all of them? Okay, cool. So let me ask you this, Darius. Mr. Miyagi, this guy. So Daniel's son, for those of you who haven't seen Karate Kid, Jacob, I don't know if you've seen it or not. Daniel's son, this guy was in high school and he had a crush on a girl. She was smoking hot. He liked her. She liked him. Everything was all good. So they started talking. Come to find out there was some stalker ex-boyfriend who liked her too, that knew karate, could fight, and kept beating up Daniel because he was hitting on his girl, right? So Daniel goes to this karate master and says, hey, man, I need you to teach me how to defend myself because I'm getting beat up every day in school. I like this girl. I wanted to, work out. So he says, great. Come back at 6 o'clock in the morning and we could start your training. Jatarius, what's the first thing that Mr. Miyagi told Daniel's son to do? You remember?
In the new one, old one.
Let's go with the old one.
The old one?
Mm-hmm.
He told him to paint I think he told him to wash his car.
He said, wash all these cars. This
Yeah.
guy had like 50, like I don't know, like 20 or 30 like old school nice cars. And he said, I want you to wash and wax all these cars. But he said, I'm very particular about the way that I like things washed and waxed. I need you to wax on with circular motions and then wax off with the other hand, circular motions. Wax on, wax off, very particular. Do it like that. Let me know when you're done. A couple days goes by, dude's arms all sore, gets done, waxed all the cars, goes up to him and says, hey, I got it. He goes, great, got your next lesson, come back at 6 a.m. Comes back the next day at 6 a.m. and Todd, what does Mr. Miyagi tell the guy to do?
I don't remember.
He says, sand or paint the fence. And this guy looks at him and says, this big ass fence? I got to paint this whole thing? I'm here to learn how to fight. You have me doing chores? He said, look, I'm a karate master. You want to learn how to fight? Paint my fence. He said, fine. But I'm very particular about the way I like to paint my fence. You have to go up and down. Make sure you go with the grain. I don't want all paint all over the place. Up and down. When your right arm gets tired, switch it up and down, paint the fence. Daniel's son says, fine. He ends up doing it for a couple of days, rocks it out, shoulders, arms, everything even more sore, comes back and says, I'm ready to my training. He says, excellent, come back, 6 a.m., I'll have your next lesson. He comes back next day, 6 a.m., Mr. Miyagi says, I need you to sand this floor. And the deck was bigger than the fence. This big old deck, he says, like this is getting crazy. But he talks him into it. Same old. I'm very particular about the way I want to sand my floor. It's sand up in circular motions. When your arm gets tired, switch it up. I'm very particular. Get to it. Let me know when you're done. Dude rocks out the floor, comes back, says, I did it. I'm ready. Mr. Miyagi says, excellent. Your next lesson, paint my house. Now, at this point, Daniel's about to lose it. He knows he can't beat the dude up, right? He's a karate master, but he's about to lose his mind. But he says, I can't learn from anyone else. I really like this girl. I'm just going to go for it. He starts painting the house. About halfway through, he's pissed. It's been like a week. He's doing all these chores. He's getting beat up at school. The girl's starting to drift away. He's not learning anything. He's pissed. So he goes up to Mr. Miyagi and he just loses it on him. You motherfucking this and I'm motherfucking that. And I can't believe you're putting me through all this stuff. This is child labor, yada, yada, yada. He freaks out and he says, I'm quitting. And Mr. Miyagi says, Daniel-san, come here. Show me wax on, wax off. The dude's looking at him like, what do you mean? And he goes down. He's like, no, show me the air. Wax on, wax off. He's like, yeah, remember, I'm very particular. Show me wax on, wax off. And he does the motion. Show me paint the fence. He does the motion. Show me sand the floor. And he does the motion. Show me paint the house. And he does the motion. Now, at one point, when he says, show me wax on, wax off again, he does it. He throws a punch at him. Bam! And he blocks it. Thought it was weird. He said, show me paint the fence. And he throws a punch at him again. Bam! And he blocks it. Thought it was weird. He said, show me sand the floor. He throws a kick at him, blocks it. Throws a kick at him, blocks it. Show me paint the house. Throws a hook at him, blocks it. Throws a hook at him, blocks it. And then you start throwing combos at this dude. And he's blocking everything. Bah, 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 bah. He says, go back to painting the house. So Daniel-san walks away like, oh my God, like I'm blocking stuff. I'm blocking punches and kicks. I know karate. And the reason is Mr. Miyagi was teaching him the muscle memory. Mr. Miyagi understood that without having that muscle memory, without actually knowing exactly the motion that it is, you can't move to the next step. So when we teach, when we coach, when you find leaders and you find people that are willing to pour into you, Jacob, willing to pour into you, Todd, willing to pour into you, Jatarius, just know that it is a long road. There's no shortcuts to this 5 years of mastery. And if anyone promises you something for nothing and a shortcut, they're going to give you nothing and they're going to charge you something. There's no shortcuts. Starts now. The best time to plant a tree, they said, was 30 years ago. Second best time to plant a tree, today. So if you want something like the ability to convince others that your point of view is right, to get the willing participation of your peers, to get any of the relationships that you would ever want, need, or desire, then communication to sales, to influence, leadership, and mastery of those skills would be something that I would recommend. On top of that, you guys can make 200 grand, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. Okay? So for today's session, we're going to take it in stages. We're going to talk about, again, that second level of leadership, which is relationship. We're going to take it in stages Miyagi-style, and we're going to teach you the muscle memory of rapport. So if I asked what is rapport, Todd, what would you tell me?
I'd assume it'd be something like I wouldn't know actually. I can't piece that together.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one. And it's one of those things, so don't feel bad about it. Jay, what would you say rapport is?
I'm going to tell you, I think rapport is the key to relationship building. That's really what rapport is. It's building a commonality with people so you can communicate.
Excellent. That is exactly right. Rapport is created from a feeling, like Jay said, of commonality. I'm like you. You're like me. We're more similar than we are different. Todd, I want you to think about someone that you have deep rapport with, someone that you really like, someone that you feel like you have, someone that you just really appreciate, like, and want to be around. Do you feel comfortable telling me the person to whom that is?
My girlfriend.
Okay. What's your girlfriend's name?
Sarah.
Is it fair to say that Sarah and you are pretty similar?
No.
Is it fair to say that the things that you think are right or wrong, Sarah pretty much agrees with? I.e., let me give you an extreme example. Let's just say, what's your ethnicity, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm mixed, black and white.
Okay, me too. Is it fair to say that Sarah is not racist?
Yes.
Okay. Is it fair to say if Sarah was racist, you probably wouldn't get along with Sarah?
Yeah.
Why?
I just personally don't appreciate racist people.
Exactly. You're not racist, and you don't appreciate racist people. You appreciate people that aren't racist, that see color as something that's stupid and something that doesn't even matter and we shouldn't think about. Not something that we should judge each other on and put them in categories. And Sarah feels the same way. Now, do you and Sarah have the exact same wants, needs, desires, and thought processes? No, absolutely not. But at the core of it, she's the kind of person that you are. And you appreciate that about her. As opposed to the Sarah that would be racist and totally different from you, which essentially you would have no interest in dating her. Am I right?
Yeah.
So rapport is relationship. Rapport is built by creating a feeling of commonality. So if creating a feeling of commonality is something that you can do strategically to build a relationship and rapport with somebody, how do you do it? And why do you do it? First, to answer the why is because it's huge. People like, someone likes you, you're much more likely to have influence over them. If someone doesn't like you, you're much more likely to have issues and problems with them. Think about some of your professors in class right now. There's probably a professor or two that really like you. And that class is probably a lot easier, or they are riding you enough to where you're being successful and you're pushing forward. Now think about that professor in your college career that you just didn't like, and you know that they didn't like you. The class was a nightmare. It was more difficult. So the more relationships you build, the more influence you have. The more influence you have, the easier it is to get people on your side. And the more people you have on your side, the more likely you are to be successful. So that's the why. But the how is what we're going to talk about today. I want to first talk about what rapport isn't, because a lot of people think that you can just fake it till you make it, and you can't. You can't be full of crap when you're building rapport with somebody. And let me give you an example. If you're talking to somebody and you say, hey, what'd you do before you retired? And the person says, I was a highway patrolman. And you say, oh, me too. The customer's gonna be like, oh, really? You were in the force? What department? And you're going to say something stupid like, Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, or something that doesn't exist because it's just not true. And you're going to break any kind of rapport. Why? Because now that person just thinks that you're a liar. And they probably don't think that they're a liar. So if they're not a liar and you are a liar, you are not like them, and you have no rapport, and you will get no influence with them at all. So it has to be authentic. But you can always find ways to build authentic rapport, but it has to and requires laser focus and excellent listening skills. So I don't want to talk about the questions just yet, but I want to go into the 4 areas that you can do to build rapport. The first one is I like you. You can build rapport with compliments and appreciation, and we'll go over that. The second is I am like you. You can use questions to find commonalities and then pepper in little I'm like you statements. The third is I want to be like you. Everyone loves giving advice. So asking for advice puts you in rapport and builds a relationship with somebody. Now, Todd, I know you got a girlfriend. Jatarius, I don't know your relationship status. And Jacob, I don't know yours either. Well, let's hypothetically say, Todd, you don't marry your current girlfriend and your peers on the call are single. Rapport is a very beautiful thing for relationships of the romantic kind as well. If you have a crush, doing these things will help you build rapport with said crush and build a relationship. It can be professional, it can be personal, and it can be anywhere in between, which is the reason why I say that this skill of communication, sales, and influence is the most valuable skill that you could use, because it'll cross-pollinate into every area of your life. And then the fourth way to build rapport is I hear you, which is a validation technique that we'll talk about here in a second. So let's go back to the first step. We're going to do a little role play. So, Jatarius, why do you think compliments and appreciation build rapport?
Well, they kind of go back to, like, well, besides the I hear you aspect of it, they kind of go back to the acknowledgement aspect of that. People like being acknowledged, you know. They like, you know, they want to be uplifted.
I agree. I like that. People do want to be acknowledged, and it feels good to be appreciated. Todd, why do you think appreciation or compliments builds rapport?
People tend to like people noticing at least their good points.
This is very true. If rapport is I'm like you and you're like me, and we're more similar than we are different, then appreciating somebody builds rapport. If I say, for example, hey, I like your shoes, where'd you get those? In your mind, instinctually, it's like this person likes my shoes, I like my shoes, this person's like me. So it's building rapport. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So giving an appreciation statement and then asking a question is an excellent way to start up a conversation and control said conversation. For example, Todd, let me ask you, how'd you meet your girlfriend?
We met at the card shop.
That's awesome. How'd you spark up a conversation with her?
She was dating a friend of mine.
You're a savage. Okay. That's okay. So that was more of a natural conversation. Jatarius, you in a relationship?
Yes, sir.
How'd you meet your girlfriend or partner?
We met at the gym.
Met at the gym? How'd you start a conversation with the girl at the gym? That takes some serious communication skills.
Well, it was in a more intimate gym, like, you know, at an apartment complex, and
I gotcha.
we were the only two in there for like the past like probably about 3 consecutive days in a row, and I finally just decided to introduce myself. Or
What'd you do?
like,
What'd you say?
well, I think I was stretching or something like that, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna break the ice. What is your name? And
That's
then, you know,
awesome.
yeah,
Was
and she
it a little
goes,
awkward?
what was that?
Was it a little awkward?
Yeah, it was like just you know, just seeing her back to back days, and then like, you know, not saying anything to her. So I'm
I
like,
got
you
you.
know, that person that if you're in my environment, I need to know something about you. so
I feel you. Hey, I feel you. So,
so yeah, it was appropriate to ask her.
gentlemen, I have a challenge for you. My challenge is to increase your communication skills and step out of your comfort zone. My challenge is to get a random stranger, and I know it's a little bit more difficult now because all of us are freaking quarantined, but when you get a chance, I want you to give someone a compliment and ask them a question. For example, hey, I really like those shoes. Where'd you get those, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, wow, I really like those earrings. My girlfriend would love those. Where did you get those? Or I see that you have a bumper sticker on your car. I freaking love that band. Did you know that they were in town X months from now? Anything like that. You want to start increasing your ability to make a random comment that compliments the person and then follows it up with a question. That's a way to build rapport. I like you. The second way is I'm like you. Now you're walking and you say, hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I like those shoes. Where'd you get those? Oh, I got them over there at the Foot Locker right up the street. That's awesome. Do you work around here? You could use I'm like you in questions around work, family, location to build more rapport. So let's keep going on our regular thing. Hey, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I really like that shirt. Where'd you get that, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, it's actually at North Lake Mall. Oh, really? Jump to the next piece. Do you live around North Lake Mall? I do. I actually live right up the street. Really? Me too. I live right up the street from North Lake Mall. I'm like you. How long have you lived here? Well, I've actually lived here for about 20, we've lived here for about 15 years. You say we. Are you married? I am married. Been married for 15 years, or I've been married for 25 years. That's awesome. I've wanted to be married myself. I'm engaged. Do you have any advice? Well, actually, and you continue keeping up the conversation like that. So essentially, after you've given a compliment, after you've asked a question, you move into more questions around work, around where do you live, around your family, around what do you like, what are your habits. And peppered through all of those questions, you make comments that show the person, I'm like you, I like you, I want to be like you. We're more similar than we are different. What that will do is it will skyrocket your influence with that person. So if you ever need something, if you have her something to say, if you want to ask her out on a date or have him join your team, whatever it may be, you're much more likely to have that influence over that person. So I like you is the first piece, compliments and appreciation. I'm like you, asking questions around work, and then making comments saying, I like that, that's cool, I've always wanted to do that, I do that now, I'm like you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Any questions in regards to these two bullets so far?
No.
Excellent. The next is I want to be like you. Everyone loves giving advice. Jatarius, let me ask you a question. You said you met your girl at the gym?
Yes, sir.
You work out a lot?
I used to.
Man, me too. I'm trying to get swole. Like, honestly, like, what advice do you have for me? Like, you go to, you said you're a apartment gym?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was my apartment gym at the time. Yeah.
If I wanted to put on a couple pounds of muscle, man, what would I do?
I say lift heavy. Um, lift heavy. Low reps and eating right.
I like lifting heavy more with low reps and like the lower weight with higher reps, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. When you say eat right, what do you mean? Like, what should I eat?
I would incorporate, healthy proteins, like, chicken, poultry, fish, stuff like that. Avocado.
Okay. Jatarius, I bet you're jacked, bro. You jacked?
No, I could turn my camera on. I'm not yet.
Yeah, you don't have to, man. In my mind, you're looking super swole, so don't do it, okay? But that last bit of conversation was an example of how you can use advice to build rapport. Hey, man, how can I get swole? What do I eat? Within that, peppering conversations of, oh yeah, I like low reps and high, I like low reps and high weight too. Damn, I need to eat better too. Damn, I bet you're swole. Going back to the compliments. You see how I peppered in all that stuff? Did you guys hear appreciation and compliments in my comment?
I did.
Did you guys hear I'm like you and finding commonalities in my comment?
Yes.
And let me ask you guys an honest question. Did it sound like I was full of shit? Like, did it sound like I was trying to build rapport? I was getting something out of you, or did it just sound natural?
It sounded natural.
Because it is. It's easy. You just got to know the steps. And when you do these steps every time you converse with somebody, when you're doing these steps and you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, you're going to fall and make mistakes and you're going to learn and become brilliant at it. And one day, 5 years down the road of you working on your craft, day after day, pounding on it, you will be an excellent communicator and you'll make a ton of money because of it. And you'll have influence and people will look at you as a leader and they will follow you and you will be able to build the thing of your dreams if you start this journey and you continue on this journey with us. Now, you notice that I asked a lot of questions, right, Jatarius?
Yeah.
Questions are a way to keep control of a conversation. If you want to know who's losing a conversation, listen to the person who's talking the most. If you want to know who's winning a conversation, look at the person that ain't saying nothing and is just asking a bunch of questions. Have y'all ever been on a date or with somebody that's like venting and all you're doing is really just asking questions? You didn't say anything about yourself. And at the end of it, they just say, oh my God, that was just such a good conversation. Like, I just feel like that was a really good conversation. And you ain't even say anything because questions allows you to actually control the conversation. So after making a rapport building statement, after saying something, always follow it up with a question. Oh, the ball will always be in your court if you do that. Make sense? The last thing that I'll tell you guys is it has to be authentic. You have to actually care. Like, Jarius, I really do want you to get swole, bro. Like, I really would like you guys to come on board and make a ton of money and help some people. And it has to be authentic. People could smell inauthenticity a mile away. And at the end of the day, who you are, how you make them feel is more important what you do and say. Maya Angelou, of course, says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. It's important that as we go through these rapport building steps, we use our powers of influence for good, to push people to be the best, strongest, smartest, fastest, sharpest, wisest version of them, to make the world a better place. Because you could absolutely gain all these sales skills, turn to the dark side, screw people over and become a millionaire within a couple of years and have a lot of hurt feelings behind you. But that's not what we're building towards. We're building towards a better you, a better community, and a better all of us, right? So my question, and I'm sure that one of your questions is, after my long tirade, and I apologize, is how do I continue this journey? So I'm a program manager at GoHealth. And I would be one of the people that makes the hiring decisions. We have a number of different positions that are open that you can be in frontline sales if you don't have that much experience with this. You can be in advanced sales if you want to make $200,000 and you feel like you have a ton of experience in this and this is just second nature, or anywhere in between. And along that journey, if you're interested, if you want to join a company or that has a culture that we care about you, we want you to be better, faster, smarter, sharper, just the best version of you that you can be, I want you all, first and foremost, to write down my phone number. You can call me anytime. No weird 3 o'clock in the morning drunken phone calls or anything, but hit me up anytime. So you guys have your phones ready?
Yes.
My phone number is area code 480-221-1609. My name is Chris, and I got your back. So if you're interested in GoHealth, we have positions open for you. If you're interested in bettering yourself, I'd be more than happy to help you. Because at the end of the day, if a lot of money and financial security is important to you, if doing something that you care about and makes a difference is important to you, if having influence and people see you as a leader is important to you, I can teach you those things. And I'd be more than happy to walk you or hold your hand on this journey because it's going to be a better place. I need you to be the best you can be so the world is the best it can be for me and my family. So if you want to join this journey with me, let me show you what it looks like. First off, GoHealth is the best. We're the best. We're the #1 telephonic Medicare Advantage enroller in the country. So if you want to join the Google, the Tesla, the Instagram, the Amazon of insurance, GoHealth is the way to go. Just to give you kind of a heads up, we have 700% growth in our sales in the last 3 years, really 2 years. It's huge. It's more than any company I'm sure that you can point out off the top of your head. The biggest thing though is what does that mean for me? So our #1 agent made $180,000 last year. The top 10% of the organization makes over $115,000 every year. The top 50% makes over $80,000 a year. And our average compensation is around $70,000. So your average Joe makes 70, the best of the best makes 180, more than half make over 80, which is good money. Todd, let me ask you a question. You ever made 200 grand in a year before?
Nope.
What would you do if you made 200 grand?
I'd probably save it.
Good. What would you save it for?
Just in case any random things popped up that I'd need it for.
See, that is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, Todd, when it comes to the savings that you'll be able to put away in 2-3 months will give you the nest egg that you can not worry about those random things. The rest of the year, those 9 months, you have a lot more money coming to you. So think about what you would do with $200,000. Jatarius, what would you do with 200 G's?
And I'll start to lay a platform for my family.
You say start a platform for your family. What do you mean?
Well, I have a 8-month-old daughter, and
Congratulations, man.
thanks. Yeah,
I
thanks.
got a
So
baby
yeah,
on the
right
way
now.
too.
Oh, congratulations to you.
Thanks, bro. Is it crazy? Is being a dad wild?
Absolutely. But
Give me
I
some
love it.
advice, bro. Give me some advice. What can I do to be a good dad? You got what, 16 months ahead of me.
I see the rapport building, but
See
but
that?
yeah,
You're picking up what I'm putting down now.
yeah, but no, I mean, I think just it's kind of cliche, but just being selfless. Like don't get caught up in how you feel.
That's
It's
good
bigger than
advice.
you.
That's good advice, man. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for that. And yeah,
Yes, sir.
rapport. It's natural. It's got to be, right? Just because you know what I'm doing doesn't mean it's bad. You just have to make sure
Right.
you do right with it. So 200 G's, you put it away and your baby girl or boy?
Have a little girl.
Baby girl will be set up for college, right?
That's right.
So Jatarius, Todd, you guys have a nest egg saved up. You got the college fund saved up. Next year, you make another 200 grand. What are you going to do with it?
I'm gonna invest it.
What are you going to invest it in?
Retirement.
All right. So yeah. What about you, Todd?
I'll probably at that point move to like making sure, probably like working towards paying off housing,
Yeah.
just finding a nice place in general.
That's beautiful. Now I want you guys to think about this. They say we overestimate what we could do in a year and we underestimate what we could do in 5 years. Let's just say that you all come in and you crush it. You're a number one. You make $180,000 over the course of 5 years. What's 180,000 times 5? Help me out. I'm not a math major.
It's just short of like maybe
Just
200,000.
Yeah, like what, like 900,000, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, you're on
So
there.
you have $900,000 in income that you've made over this last 5 years after your steps to mastery. What would you do with it? It would change your life. It would change your circumstances. It would change your family's life. It would change your community's circumstances. So this is the future that I want to put in front of you. You all went to school. You sacrificed. You got a degree, and that's awesome. But that degree doesn't mean anything if you don't have the skills that employers are looking for. And if skills are what you have to develop, what skills are the ones that you want to focus on? So you look at something like communication, sales, influence, and you look at how it comes into every aspect of your life. So my question is, while you work on something that's going to help every aspect of your life, would it make sense to make at least 70, but up to $180,000? And I think that answer is yes. So with that being said, I want to tell you what you can get. 180 G's, yep. Your daughter's college fund funded, yep. Your nest egg, good to go, yep. Housing paid off, absolutely. Cars and clothes and influence and all that stuff, absolutely. But there's a big difference between why I'm here and what I just told you. So in sales, as you get in this journey, you'll realize that there's really two paths. And if you all are Star Wars fans, you'll relate. There's the dark side and there's the Jedi or the light side. There's more Sith and more dark side sales folks out there than there are Jedis and light side. There's more people using their powers of persuasion, influence to talk people into things that aren't the best for them, but will help the person talking them into it. Then there's the light side. The folks that actually use their powers of influence to push the world forward, to make things better for everyone else. The problem is, you're usually broke when you do that. So when you're in a nonprofit, you're usually broke. When you start a charity, you're not making $1 million. So although your heart is in the right place, in your giving, in your influencing, in your helping to push the world forward, you're broke and that sucks. Then you find what I call the Goldilocks careers. The place where you're able to help, you're able to push the world forward, you're able to use your powers of influence and persuasion to help put people in better spots, but you're super paid for it as well. And that's where we are right here. So every single time that you talk to a customer, imagine this. You're talking to your grandmother or your grandfather. They have no idea what this crazy complicated Medicare thing is. All they know is that they can't really see good because they haven't gotten a pair of glasses in 5 years because they're expensive. Their breath is kicking because they haven't been to the dentist because Medicare doesn't cover dental. And their prescriptions are so high that they have to choose between that prescription that could keep them alive or the Thanksgiving dinner that's next week. Just assume it's in November. And that's a hard place to be in. Then we'll say that person's freaking out. They don't know what to do. They're scared to go to the doctor because everyone has corona. They can't go to the pharmacy because everyone has corona. They're stuck in the house. They don't know what to do. They see a commercial. They call. Todd, you answer the phone. You answer the phone and you give that person a sense of peace and security that they didn't know was possible. You tell them it's going to be okay, Mr. Customer. You don't have to go to the pharmacy. We'll mail you your drugs and they'll be cheaper. It's okay, Mrs. Customer. You don't have to go see your doctor in the office. You can do a televisit and we'll cover that visit for you. It's okay, Mr. Customer. You're now not going to have to choose over the price of how much your healthcare is and paying your bills. The people cry. Every single day I hear people cry, thanking us for what we've done. And every single day, that person crying, thanking us for what they've done equals commission for the people that are doing it. So that person that has $180,000 that you saw on the last slide also has $180,000 worth of good feelings and vibes and karma from making the world a better place. So if it's your desire to do something that matters, because people's health matters, especially now more than ever with this corona, you could see it. If your desire is to learn a skill and master that skill that will permeate into every aspect of your life, when you're convincing your daughter Jatarius that she needs to go into STEM so she could be an astronaut one day, and you influence her to do that, that comes with communication. And the last piece, if your desire is to make a ton of money, because no one can make a difference if they're super broke, or at least I haven't found a way to. If you want to do all those things, you make a difference. You learn skills that will be valuable that you can pass on to your family and friends, and make a ton of money and be financially free while you do it. I think GoHealth might be a good fit for you. And if that is, I want you to give me a call. I want you to let me know. And I'll tell you what that step from 0 to hero looks like and what that 5-year journey consists of. So I know I went a little bit over time, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys some question and answers. So if you don't have anywhere else to be, I'm still free. What questions do you all have for me?
I was wondering if I could get the rest of your number. I didn't get it all.
Sorry. It's area code 480-221-1609.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. What questions do you have for me, Todd? And Jacob, if you have any questions, just type them away. Okay, buddy? And it's all good if you don't have any questions either. Todd, don't worry about it. Jatarius, what questions do you have for me, bro?
Well, I really don't have any questions off the top of my head.
All good.
But I just want to thank y'all for, putting this together. I didn't expect to have so much fun learning about a company. I didn't think I would be learning about, life skills.
At the end of the day, my friend, I'm not here for just me. I'm here for you. And you're here for me too. I need you to be a better, faster, sharper version of you. I need you to make it. I need you to be your best. Because everything that I pour into you, you're going to pour into your daughter. And everything that your daughter learns from you could make a real big lasting impact. If your daughter decides to go into infectious disease because her dad has the communication skills to push her past that, all her friends thinking that they should just chill and be drinking and chill, and she goes to college and she gets in there and she cures cancer, I could have cancer one day. And I need you to be the best you can be so you can pour into daughter so she can cure my damn cancer, because I ain't trying to die, Jatarius. So it has ripples in the water. So anytime you come on to GoHealth, just know that when you leave, you'll be better, you'll be faster, you'll be sharper, you'll be wiser. And we expect you to take that and pass it on to your daughters. Cool?
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. Todd, you think of any questions? Or Jacob, you type any questions? No worries. Well, Jay, again, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all very much for being here and for participating and having such an interactive session. And thank our students for playing along too.
All right, guys. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Hey, Todd, that Final Fantasy VII, man, that's a hit, man. I'm glad you're playing it. But if you guys need anything, you guys let me know. Alan, thank you so much. And I am going to stop the presentation now.
All right.